What's up? I'm Adam, the movie guy. I've had a lot of people recently just asking me about like how I organize, where I get all my movies from. So I decided to just put some tips together for people who are just getting into collecting physical media, whether it be movies or even if you're into like Funko Pops, video games, really whatever. But mostly just physical media. I have about 1,100 movies in my collection. Where I used to go to my cousin's house all the time, and they had this huge collection of like 2,000 movies. And when I got older, I was like, I need to have a movie room when I get older. So really in college, about ten years ago, I really just started collecting a lot of movies, which is where I am today. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and go over just some tips and stuff that I wish I knew when I first started collecting. For anybody who is starting to collect, even if you already collected, let me know other tips in the comments, because I'm always up for some tips on good ways to collect and everything. The first tip I want to go over though, and just find out what type of media you like, whether that be DVD. There's also Blu-ray. We also have 4Ks as well. And there's really pros and cons to each of these. So obviously with DVDs, if you don't mind the lower quality, obviously the sound's lower quality, the audio's lower quality, and if you don't mind that, it is a cheaper option. Usually, if you buy brand new at like Walmart or something, it's $17 to $18. Next up, you do have Blu-ray, and these are usually the ones I do go after. I don't really. I used to buy DVDs. I don't buy them anymore just because I like the quality of Blu-ray better. They are usually a little bit more expensive to buy. Usually around like the $22 to $25 dollar range for brand new. But then you also have 4K. Usually 4K is the best audio and visual, but when it comes with that, it is also the most expensive. So one of the first things to really think about when you first buy it or start collecting your media is focus on which one you like. When I was first started, I was just buying a lot of DVDs. I didn't really know the difference between DVD and Blu-ray, but like the last 5-6 years, and the TVs are getting better, I'm seeing a huge difference in the quality in the two. And another thing as well is the DVDs are a little more bulkier than Blu-ray if you want to get into like logistics of it, where if you start collecting Blu-rays, you can fit more Blu-rays on a shelf than you can DVDs. These take up more space. But like I said, if you want to go a more economic route, obviously DVDs are still are good for that. You know, no one's judging you, whatever one you want. Next thing I want to talk about are steelbooks. So these are collector items usually. Usually these do run a lot more expensive. These are more used for people who really love the movies. They have great special features sometimes. But one of the things I want to talk about with not only steelbooks but other ones is cases. So on this case, I know this is one of my favorite movies, Joker. This is Joker 2. I did get the steelbook for it, and I do have a case. Steelbooks are subject to scratch more often or dent, so getting these cases, you can get them on Amazon for like I think like $12 for 10 of them usually. So every time I get a steelbook with my Fellowship of the Ring one as well, I make sure to get these cases. And I did not know that. And another movie that I had, 8 Mile, on the back of it, it is not, maybe all on the front, it's not big, but up here there is a scratch on the art. I saw that and I was like, oh crap. I looked up these cases. So if you are getting steelbooks, just know that they can scratch and dent. So getting those just little plastic cases that are pretty cheap on Amazon come pretty good with those. The next thing I want to talk about, so I talked about prices on these ranging from like $18 to $30. Usually 4Ks are at 30, but really buy used when you can. You can find movies almost anywhere you go. I would say 80% of the movies that I bought were used. Places like Goodwill is great place to go. Any local like record store, movie store that you can find is great. Any thrift store you can find. Another great one where that can be fun is just going to different yard sales as well. For me, just the hunt is fun. Yeah, you can go just buy the new release, go home and watch it. But for me, going out to these different places, it's fun because you never know what's going to be there. And then pawn shops as well have a lot of good ones as well. And you can usually get Blu-rays between 50 cents to $2 to $3 at yard sales, at thrift stores, at Goodwill. I think they're $2 or $3 as well. But you really never know what you can find. And for me, the fun part is the hunt. So if you are into that, you like going out not knowing where you're going to get. Sometimes you could be a bust, sometimes it'd be great. Just go out there and look for stuff. And then if you go to that store once and you don't find anything, that doesn't mean not to go there again. I went to a local thrift store one time, or a local Goodwill. They had nothing. The next day they had like 10 not brand new Blu-rays, but new Blu-rays that people brought in, and they were newer movies that I got all for $2, where if I bought them at Walmart it would have been well over $100 to get. So just because you don't find it one day, try again a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later. They will have more stuff because people are constantly bringing stuff in. When you do buy stuff at buy used, one of the cons to that are scratch discs. So some stores do have those little stickers where you can't open it, but if you can, I would always open it and just check the disc for any scratches. This one's pretty clean, but if it has any scratches, you can take the risk for it, but usually if it's pretty scratched up, I don't. If there's one or two, I might take a risk, especially if it's only $2. But definitely check the disc, and even just making sure the disc is in there, especially at yard sales. I went somewhere, I was gonna buy a few, the discs weren't even in there. So definitely check that before you leave that. The next thing I wanna talk about is, once you have so many movies, sometimes it's hard to just keep up with what you have. You're at a store, you might buy a duplicate. I have an app called iCollect that I use. I think I bought it for $5 like 10-15 years ago. I don't know if it costs money or is free now. I will show like a picture of it though. And this helps you keep up with, it has an alphabetical list of what you have. It also keeps up with if you ever loan it to someone, you can show that. There's more features to it, but usually I just kind of keep it to see what I have, just to make sure there's no duplicates. And if I ever wanted to look through or show someone like, hey, you want to watch a movie, let them look through the catalog just to see what I have. And my last tip of the day is just collect what you like. Like I said at the beginning, I used to buy just a ton of DVDs where I thought, I don't know, I just didn't know much about it. I collected a ton of DVDs. I bought in bulk. A lot of the movies I bought, I didn't even care about watching. I was just trying to get the collection going. I have totally regretted that. I used to have like 1,500 movies. I got rid of 500, 600 movies at some point, and now I'm just constantly upgrading things that I have on DVD to Blu-ray. So not only did I buy it once, I'm now buying it again to upgrade. Another just aesthetically pleasing thing to me is it would be great to have all DVDs just because they're all the same size, or Blu-rays because they're all the same size, and 4Ks are usually the same size as Blu-rays. But with DVDs, you see how like this small, then it kind of sticks out. That bothers me, but I need to have an alphabetical order, because then if I didn't, that would bother me even more. So just knowing what you like before you start to keep going, and just buy what you like. Don't try to buy bulk unless that's really what you want to do, then go ahead for it. But buy what you like. Don't worry about what other people have or anything. Another thing I wanted to talk about is, if you need two of the same movie just in different like artwork, get two of the same movie in different artwork. So this is one of the DVDs, but it has great special features on it for Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I do have it on DVD, but I also have it on 4K Steelbook. And I also have the Lord of the Ring trilogy on this 4K collection as well. It's one of those where I have it on DVD, 2 on 4K, but I like it so much and I like the artwork so much. That's just what I like and what I have bought over the years. There are some movies though that are DVD that don't come in Blu-ray, so always look up that if that's what you want to go in for. But yeah, those are my 5 tips. See what you like: DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. If you like Steelbooks, make sure you have those protective coverings. Even if you want to put protective coverings over Blu-rays, I have some friends that have those as well. Buy used when you can. Obviously, a lot of these stores, Target, Best Buy, stopped selling them. You can still buy on Amazon, some boutiques on their website. But buying used is another just cheap way to buy movies, especially ones you like, and it's fun to go out on that hunt. An app, a kind of app you can do to collect, just to keep up with what you have, and then just collect what you like. And if you like DVDs, buy DVDs. If you like 4Ks, buy 4Ks. If you want to buy bulk, but I wish that I would have just bought what I liked and not just bought a ton of stuff, because it just led to me spending money twice on movies that I would want to upgrade, or just getting rid of them at some other point. If you'd like another part 2 to this video, please let me know. If you learned anything, please let me know. Hit that subscribe button, and if you have any other tips or tricks, leave that in the comments as well. Peace.